Alright, so today we've got a bit of a different video. For quite some time now, one thing I've seen pretty regularly in the comment section is unpopular opinion followed by whatever the commenter deems as unpopular, which half of the time it isn't. But today I wanted to make a video based off of said unpopular opinions and just see what happens with it, the same way I did with the community videos, which luckily people watch, which I'm grateful for. I plan on making a few of these because the post I made about unpopular opinions received the largest response yet, and there's a lot I'd like to go over. Now, since this is the first part, I do plan on mixing in a few of the opinions that received a lot of likes, despite them being the opposite of an unpopular opinion, just because, you know, they were well received. Anyways, if you do watch these videos somewhat regularly, I'd really appreciate it if you sub to the channel, as it really helps me out. You guys have been very supportive as of late, and it means a lot. And if you'd like to vote on the opinions, feel free to join the Discord. The link is in the description. Now, before we start, let me talk about this background footage you're looking at. It took me a while, and I didn't want to believe it, but I have realized that you guys do in fact hate me. That is a conclusion I've come to. I know I lost a bet and let you guys choose my hero, but this is just cruel and unusual punishment. I didn't want to say anything, but I was really hoping that Highlander wasn't going to win because he's a hero I felt I'd have the toughest time with, and I was right. I'm rep 2 with him now, only 8 more reps to go, but I'm sure things will get better as I get used to playing him. But if I ever vanish without a trace, just know that it was Highlander who caused it. I will say I have a lot more respect for Highlander mains now. On a real note, you guys have been really helpful and giving me tips and whatnot, and I thank you all for that. Now with that all out of the way, let's not waste any more time. Actually, there's one more thing. Don't go out of your way to insult anyone. At the end of the day, it's truly just an opinion about a video game. Now let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Starting things off, Unbecoming says Black Prior is an idiot-proof hero, oh boy, due to his high recoveries, that in the hands of someone with more than 2 brain cells makes him extremely difficult to deal with and punish. I believe he should have his recoveries looked at. Alright, I'm assuming you mean that he recovers from things like his bash quickly and has fast flow in a bulwark. And the thing about being able to dodge a warden bash after throwing a shield bash probably happens in pretty specific situations, or it wasn't a level 1 bash. Anyways, as you guys may know, I'm a fan of Black Prior, not just from a cosmetic standpoint. I wish that there were more heroes in this game that were as consistently useful as Black Prior. He's great in every game mode and he's easily one of my favorite heroes. That being said, I do see where you're coming from. Black Prior is not tough to play. A lot of heroes aren't very tough to play when you boil things down. It's certainly not just recoveries that make BP a good character. You know, he's got all these things that I went over in the last video. I often see people talk about how he just spams the light bash light or Tenebris, and I've never really gotten this, because if you know that the Black Prior you're up against is going to light then bash, then why aren't you punishing it? They'll then say that BP will throw an undodgeable after the light, and I mean, isn't that the point of the mix-up? But yeah, I think Black Prior has an easier time taking his opponents out, but I don't think his recoveries are the only reason why. Next up, Griffin Hutchian says, I'm not sure if this is an unpopular opinion, but Reflex Guard has no place in For Honor anymore. It made sense on release as the different classes were more distinct. However, as time has gone on, what exactly defines an assassin versus a heavy versus a hybrid versus a vanguard has become less clear. Also, the general pace of the game has sped up. While assassins used to have faster attacks compared to the rest of the roster, that isn't the case anymore. And the ability to deflect isn't enough to justify Reflex Guard. Most heroes with the lowest overall win rate, both in competitive and normal, are assassins, largely due to Reflex Guard. Removing Reflex Guard would give assassins a much needed boost, while their ability to deflect and lower health pools would still make them unique. This is an even bigger issue now with the newest testing grounds due to the 100 millisecond window before an indicator appears. This essentially makes every attack faster, and thus makes the divide between other classes and the assassin even smaller, and makes Reflex Guard more of a hindrance. I wouldn't say that this is really unpopular nowadays. I think as the game has progressed, players have started to see that Reflex Guard is sort of, as you say, a hindrance. I really do wonder if they'll remove it one day. It would make heroes feel a bit more samey for sure, but it would help assassins out. If they want to keep it, I wouldn't mind seeing it buffed by either increasing the duration a bit for all of the assassins, or they could play around with the hidden indicator thing. I guess the guard being hidden to the opponent while their guard was down was supposed to be an advantage, but let's be honest here, that doesn't bother anyone. If they were to hide the indicator of an attack for a little bit longer while the assassin's guard was down, that'd be interesting. But we're already seeing that in the testing grounds, as you said, for everyone, so that suggestion is irrelevant if the changes go through. But if they don't, that'd be something I'd like to see tested out. The class system as a whole, and even labels describing the heroes, just don't mean as much anymore. It sort of describes the hero you're playing. I don't really care for them. But yeah, if Reflex Guard is to remain in the game, I'd like to see it at least have one more advantage. Rayo Rock says, I think Tiandi and Jormungandr sound amazing and not annoying at all, and that's an unpopular opinion. I think they portray a lot of passion in their voice lines, and to be honest, more characters need that. P.S. You're amazing, Inf, which is a very popular opinion. Hey, thanks, Rayo. I sort of thought Tiandi was annoying, especially the female version, and male Jorm was really annoying to me, but over time, they actually really grew on me. Tiandi from a design standpoint has become one of my favorite heroes, because Ubi has really stayed committed to his character, at least the one they painted in-game. I don't really see his background anywhere in him, you know, where he killed his 3 brothers and caused his father to take his own life in shame, causing him to hunt those that remind him of himself in this war. But the higher-than-thou personality he portrays in-game has really connected with me. The voice lines grew on me as well. As for Jorm, at first I thought the yelling was annoying because the game was filled with so many great voice lines that are memorable that you just want to say along with your hero. Or maybe that's just me and toxic TV. And then Jorm comes along just screaming, this high-pitched scream. It didn't help that there were 7 or 8 of them per game when he released, and that Jorm was designed in a way that just didn't click with me. But just like with Tiandi, he grew on me as it is unique and does fit this wild character. Elias Everett says, unpopular opinion, I really don't care about the Centurion rework. People who are so thirsty for it should drink some water. There are characters who need changes badly, like Nusha. I honestly could not care less about it when it drops. Well, I mean, I don't really agree that Nusha needs more work than Centurion right now, but there's nothing wrong with not caring about the Centurion rework. If you don't care about Centurion at all, as in you don't care for playing him, or you don't care if you're even fighting against him, then of course you wouldn't care if he's being reworked. It will, however, affect the game that you play. You will without a doubt see a wave of Centurions when his rework comes around, more Centurions than you've seen in years. I guarantee you will see at least 5 Centurions per game after his rework drops, as there are so many people just waiting for his rework and want Centurion to be a better hero. So you should at the very least know what he can do, even if you don't play him, just so that you have an idea of what to expect when going up against this new Roman Empire that will temporarily take over for honor. Next up, Bobby Ellington says, unpopular opinion, but variable charged heavy should not be in the game. It's too unsafe to try and parry with not a lot of upside. Most of the time you're just forced to block and take chip damage because going for a parry just isn't worth it. You actually just explained why charged heavies or variable timed heavies are not a bad thing for the game. Blocking has always been really safe, and parries are really rewarding. Defense is generally stronger than regular offense, like light attacks and heavy attacks. Charged heavies just give heroes a chance to get into their offense without worrying as much about being parried or deflected or anything like that. I don't want to see every hero going forward have charged heavies, but I don't mind seeing them on heroes that have them. They have a purpose and they work well. TAKB says, I don't like how they're making all heroes safer to use and thus stronger. I liked it better when it was slower and when there was more risk involved. If you talk or listen to people who talk about For Honor, you'll often hear them mention something about the defensive meta or how good defense is compared to offense. When offense is really slow, it is really easy to block, dodge, parry, and deflect it all. Why would you want to throw an attack when all of them lead nowhere, or you end up taking damage because you wanted to initiate offense? This is the reason Ubi has been making heroes faster or safer. They want players to attack and not stare at each other, or whittle each other down over a long period of time. They also want more heroes to be able to attack consistently and be more confident in doing so, hence the testing ground changes, so that we see more heroes being useful. But yeah, I know where you're coming from. I just think the direction they're taking this game is much better overall. Moronic Crab says, controversial. Every faction other than knights require no brain to play. Alright, so I'm assuming you mean that every hero that isn't a knight is brain dead easy to play because they're just better heroes. So 19 of the 26 heroes in this game are brain dead. Okay. Collectively, the knights are much better than the samurai at the very least, and there are definitely heroes that require more thought to play than a few knights. I'm pretty sure this isn't serious. Wyatt Shelley says, I don't really have a problem with it, but it's kind of weird for me to see black characters in For Honor, especially when it's a Viking with red or blonde hair. I feel like it might have been better to just make all the characters Japanese, Chinese, or European. Then again, I can see how making your character the same skin color as you might help you relate to them and have more fun with the game, as it is a fantasy game after all. So I can't really say it shouldn't be the way it is. It just looks weird to me a lot of the time. I think it'd be the same way if they added a historically black character to the game that you could turn white. Gladiator is currently the only hero in the game right now that makes sense with a darker skin tone. It just takes me out of it. I know this is going to sound touchy, and I apologize if I've offended anyone with what I've said. It was never my intention. Even though I disagree with you now and then, I'm a big fan of your videos. You always are able to put a positive outlook on things relating to the game or otherwise, and the quality of your videos never fails to impress. Thank you for all you do for this community. Thank you for the kind words, Wyatt. I haven't heard anyone mention this since the early days. I think it really just came down to For Honor being a video game. People like to customize and make their characters look cool or want to roleplay as them. I'm black and have black characters. I also have white characters, Asian characters, mixed characters. It doesn't really matter. I just go with whatever looks coolest, no matter the faction. I use a black gladiator but a white black prior, a black raider but a white shaman, and then there's my lawbringer who doesn't even have skin. It really just depends on what I want my character to look like. And I mean, all we do in this game is fight each other and customize our heroes anyways. There's hardly anything else to do. Customization is what we grind for, other than levels after all. Spookish says, definitely unpopular opinion, here we go. But I don't like new heroes. I just start to get comfortable fighting one hero and then another comes in and is overpicked and ruins the game for me for a while. The only exception has been Year 1 heroes and John Hu. I still hate Jorm with a passion. I'm assuming you mean you don't like new heroes in general and not just the new heroes we've received. This is something I've seen people say for a while, and there's nothing wrong with that. They'd rather you stop releasing new heroes and instead focus on the heroes that we have in the game now so that they can try and perfect the game. I personally don't like the idea of that. I think the game would start to feel really stale without the addition of new heroes. Even if the heroes received crazy reworks that made them feel like brand new heroes, I'd rather new ideas and designs make their way into the game with new styles and identities, new finishers, fashion, and the best part, new voice lines. Anyways, yeah, newer heroes are generally overpicked when they first release and maybe throughout the release season, but their pick rates tend to normalize over time. I wouldn't enjoy fighting and playing as the same heroes all the time. Could you imagine if they stopped releasing heroes after the Wu Lin or even the Year 1 heroes? I probably wouldn't even enjoy playing the game anymore after seeing the same old heroes for that long. Lastly, we've got Pickled Pete. He says guard break is the single most busted mechanic in the game. There's no way to punish it. They can spam it. When they eventually get it, it's free damage. Scent can't one combo you with it anymore, but it's still OP on many characters like Kensei. It is a huge problem for the game because it is necessary sometimes, but it just never balanced. Basically, the core game design is shit. I think guard breaks are fine, especially in a 1v1 setting. From neutral, they're really easy to react to, even on console. If they keep spamming guard break after you counter a previous one, just throw a light attack. There are plenty of things that guard breaks bounce off of. It's not really ever free damage, although sometimes if you're being ganked by certain heroes, it can be the end of your life or guarantee some big damage if you're around the wrong heroes. Shaman ganks will get you with a guard break, Zerk, Lawbringer, you know the deal. Guard breaks are not perfect, but They're far from overpowered or broken. If you get caught by one while dueling, it's generally your fault for getting caught up. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I enjoyed making this video. I had a lot of fun with it. It may have come late, but better late than never. Sorry if you hear any background noise. My neighbors decided that they wanted to throw a mosh pit or something over there. So if you hear anything, I apologize. Again, if you'd like to vote, all you've got to do is join the Discord and head to the Unpopular's Opinion vote channel and just vote agree or disagree. The link to the server again will be in the description. I do want to hear from you guys, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as always, if you liked the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.